Sorry, everyone. The first video, of course, was cut off at 15 minutes. So I was discussing the MISO level in regards to my interventions for sexually abused children. And so I would also like to use art therapy in support with my motivational interviewing techniques because it's children. Again, like I said, it could be very challenging for them to express what's going on, how they're feeling, and the type of abuse that they might have experienced. And I think with art therapy, along with the motivational interviewing, would be a nice technique for them to be able to draw out maybe something that might have happened to them, especially if the person that abused them was a close family member. It might make it a little bit easier in regards for them to use drawing as a way to express what happened. I think this could also help me gather information in regards to the grooming process. Again, this is the process in which the abuser works with the child's feelings and emotions, and it kind of grooms them into being how they want them to be: quiet, keep their secret, not tell anyone. Therefore, they can continue to abuse them at their leisure. They kind of test the waters a little bit with maybe a sitting on my lap, um, let me just rub your back. And then as time goes on and they start to give the child, things that the child might like, then they start to increase and progress in regards to the inappropriate behaviors. And I think if I'm able to have a child draw those out, I can see exactly what happened and give me that timeline and how we ended up where we would be in the session. I think I would also, in this level, assess the child's behaviors at schools, if they're in any day program or any after school program, extracurricular activities, to see exactly how they might behave with other students, other adults, see if and when their behavior started to change, whether like I said before, overachievers, or if they were already at a certain level, kind of digressing backwards. So I think in that part, that would be that community piece. In regards to the macro level about the state and national interventions, like I stated earlier, each state has their own type of child protective service. And I think on those levels, there is work that could be done. I feel like over the years, we started to see more in regards to the news, a lot more stories in regards to child abuse and sexual abuse. I don't know if that's because it was happening more frequently, or now people need to hear more about it. So therefore we can prevent it and really go in there and address these concerns with these children that are being abused. Like I said before, each state has a website and a hotline to call to report some type of sexual abuse for a child. Each state is able to help in some type of way in regards to addressing these concerns. Some states have more services than others. I think another thing is that a lot of the bigger states, and maybe like New York, New Jersey, California, their child protective services might be overworked and underpaid, which makes it challenging for them to actually go out there into the homes and answer all of the calls in regards to sexual abuse. And unfortunately, those children that fall in between the cracks, more likely we hear of those type of abuses resulting in child death. So I think that on this level, we might need to revamp our child protective services, especially in those larger states, and maybe even some of those Midwest states where a lot of times we don't think things are happening, but they are. Going in and kind of revamping and see how we can figure out how to avoid having so many children fall into the cracks of the system. And then in regards to two programs, I think I got these from week 2 when we talked about different types of programs and intervention services. This one is the first one is Safety, Mentoring, Advocacy, Recovery, and Treatment, which the acronym is SMART. It is a program that focuses on the emotional and behavioral needs of a child that has been sexually abused. The program is for children ages 4 to 11. The program has a component for caregivers to assist them in developing coping skills to help their child that was sexually abused. The second program is called Child and Family Traumatic Stress Intervention, and it's a program that focuses on traumatic experiences of children 7 through 18. years old. And the goal of this program is a family strengthening model is to improve the caregiver's ability to respond and support a child who has endorsed at least one post-traumatic symptom. Again, having that family support is very, very important, especially for children that are abused, and in my presentation, sexually abused. The caregivers who are not the abusers are the support for these children, and it is important that they are also supported as well with different programs. So I think for these two programs, it is great that they incorporate the caregiver and have a component for them as well, because even though the child might be seeking and receiving therapeutic services, they're also going to continue to need, again, that support in the home. I cannot stress that enough. Each child is different. Their treatment process is going to be different, and therefore their caregiver and family members that are going to support them have to be able to maintain and assist and stabilize these children within the home. So in conclusion to my oral presentation, I definitely struggle with hearing about sexual abuse on children. I am a mother. I do come from a family where we have a lot of children, and it is very hard to know that there are children out there who unfortunately are being sexually abused. I did little research, and it did state that it has decreased over the years. I think that this has a lot to do with the increase in Child Protective Services, even though in the overall scope, it is a program that might need some revamping in regards to taking a look at how we address certain things. I do think that over the years, it has done better, especially considering the fact that where we have come from. I also think that we are holding more people responsible to mandate report: doctors, the teachers, after school community personnel, these people that come in contact with children all the time. I do think that schools play a very important part in mandating what's going on, because children spend most of their time in school. And I think it's very important that the school officials and educators continue to do what they've been doing. They're not only teachers, but now they've also stepped into the social work realm of now doing wellness checks and talking with children about their home life and ensuring that they're safe at home as well. So I think that it's very important that we also get into the schools and kind of go back through and make sure that everyone is able to understand the importance of mandating and talking to these children, and making sure that we are able to keep that open door policy for them, especially in the schools. Another thing is that I think that we now have a lot more case management, care management services, more therapeutic services. I'm a case manager during the day for my 9-to-5 job. I've been doing it for a little over 9 years now. And for me, I think that because we are able to now be into the schools and in the hospitals and other areas where children are, we're able to then provide them with more services and make sure that their families also have, again, that support that they need. I think that this has also been helpful in decreasing the sexual abuse of children. I also think that it's important that we look at the abusers and make sure that there are services in place for them, because at the end of the day, a lot of times they were abused as children and no one was there to follow up with them. And that is how we end up with this vicious cycle, especially within the families. And it's time to break that. So that is my oral presentation on sexual abuse of children. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This last page is my reference page with all of the references that I used for this presentation. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.